special occasion, and we're always glad to see you. Especially me, because last year, well, I was not allowed to come to the USA from the factory in South, and well, at the last minute I had to wait for well, the exemption of interest, and I received the email a few days after. So hello, those who are coming. We have seat in front. Yeah.
In front of me. All right. This is my clearance from Gary.
And of course, and I bet you didn't fly anyway.
Well, some of it I did, yes. So they did this and then they did this. This was from the airport, the approaches to the west, and this probably to the east. I never remember that. I had to have them spell it to the intersection because I don't know this area.
How you been, Nick? Might be around for tomorrow afternoon sometime. Sounds good.
Hello, okay. We are in Oshkosh, it's 9:15, and this is the start of their media briefing. So I'm Philippe de Segovia, the head of communication for the DAER Aircraft Division, and I have the pleasure to introduce our speaker, Didier Kayat, our CEO, and Nicolas Chabert, the Senior Vice President of the Aircraft Division and CEO of Kodiak and also the Aircraft, our subsidiary in Florida. And then Nicolas, Didier, up to you.
you for being here. I'm so happy to be here myself. I couldn't come last year because of the COVID restriction, and it's so good to be here and to meet all of you in person. It's been a while. Before giving the mic to Nicolas, who will explain what's happening on our aircraft division and in America, because also Nicolas is also our American coordinator. He coordinates all the businesses that we have in the US. I would like to come back a bit more to what the air is, because it's not only TBR and projects, it's a bit more than that, and especially this year, there are lots of things that happen here in the US. First of all, you all know that Daher is a family-owned company, still owned by the Daher family since 1863. That means that Emmanuel Macron at the time was called Napoleon III, just to give you a kind of feedback on history. And we are still owned by the family. It's for us something very important, because we are here to last. When we invest in aerospace, we have to have a long-term vision. And being held by a family, it gives us this long-term vision. We are today present in 13 countries. And to give you just a few figures of what the air is today, it's now above 1.5 billion turnover, more than 10,000 people. And our business model is based on mixing manufacturing and services activities. We are going to get into it right now. So we're in 13 countries, and now America, the US is our second country. And it's still the very beginning, because we have to grow in the US, and I know we can do it. We have a long-term vision, as I said. We have 2.5 years, million to 2.5 years in turnover as a backlog. We have more than 350 engineers, and we are mainly in aerospace, where more than 80% of the businesses are in aerospace. So what do we do? And that's the three business lines that we have in the group. First of all is, of course, we are an aircraft manufacturer. Even though it doesn't mean a lot, we are the oldest aircraft manufacturer in the world still in activity. We started in 1911 with Moran Saunier, now it's there. And so that's the first business line, and that's what's happening here today. The second business line is we do equipments, we do systems for aerospace, for bigger aircraft manufacturers, from Boeing to Airbus, from Gulfstream to Dassault. And we do mainly aerostructures or pieces of engines. The third business line is logistics and services, because we are the main logistic provider to most of the European OEMs. But as I said, lots of things are happening now in the US, because we really want to be in the US what we are in Europe, meaning having the three business lines developed. And I know I've been saying that for 5 years now, because it's in our strategic plan. I said that we wanted to grow our American business, and this is with Kodiak first, and then with Stewart, that we acquired July 1st. This is the proof that we are going to achieve what we've done in Europe. We've done it in 15 years in Europe, and we are going to do it in 5 years in the US, Nicolas. So, so now you know the learning curve is for that. And this is why we have to learn of what we've done in Europe to do it far much faster in the US. So we did the grand opening in July the 5th or 6th this year, and that's thanks in a lot our capabilities in the US on the second business line that I showed, meaning aerostructures and system for our clients. This plant was a former Triumph plant that we acquired, and that does mainly Boeing and Gulfstream businesses. And this is the kind of stuff that we do here. It's large, complex aerostructures for the 777 and for the 767 tanker and fighters aircraft. It's a huge business. It's a very long-term business, because the contracts are with a high visibility, and it still has a big market on these aircraft. So we are very happy to do this acquisition and to develop our partnership with Boeing. Thanks to that, we already work a lot with Gulfstream, so it's more Boeing that was the key element of this acquisition. And because, or thanks to that acquisition, we are now today in America more than 1,200 people working with Daher. So we are now launching the new Daher America, and this is the best way to do it with the Kodiak that Nicolas is going to review in a couple of minutes. But now we are more on the Florida and the western coast so far, but we want to grow the business everywhere where you have aerospace activities. We are in more than 10 locations, and as I said, it's really the very beginning of duplicating our business model on the 3 business lines in the US. Of course, we are taking into account the decarbonization of our aircraft, because we know that the future of aerospace is going to be carbon free, or with less carbon at least in the beginning, and we have to do that, and we have started investing on that, because we do think that all what is going to happen, if we do not move fast enough, we might have an issue with our businesses, and that's why we have started more than 5 years ago already to work on these issues, so that we can be one of the first providing on our aircraft, but also for our clients, decarbonization and low carbon impact. Of course, we started with the sustainable aviation fuel that we have already tested and is growing, but not only. Just to give you an example of what we do, we have a demonstrator program that is called EcoPulse that we do in partnership with Airbus and Safran. We provide the aircraft, Safran provides the engines, and the Airbus provides the battery. And we are learning on how to put more electricity in an aircraft, so it's on a TBM. And in order to know how, when we will end up the demonstration phase that is EcoPulse is not a product, it's a demonstration, how to implement that on our aircraft for the future. The first flight is due beginning of next year, the latest. Anyway, it will be at the Paris Air Show for sure next year. But that's not what we do. We don't only think of the future and invest on what is going to be the aircraft of 2030, 2050. We also have to improve our products and to do innovations on what we do. When we acquired Socata in 2008, Airbus, EADS at the time, told us, forget about the TBM, it's an old aircraft, it has no future. We said, on the contrary, we do think that if we invest and innovate on the TBM, it can be a long-term success. And obviously this is what we've done with the launch of all the 900 series that we've done. The first one in 2014, the TBM 900, and you know them all, the 930, the 910, the 940, and the fantastic 960 that you have here. We do think that innovation brings movement on this market. It's key. We do increase safety, we do increase innovations on our products, and since we acquired Kodiak, we have the intention to do the same. When we met with Bob West at the very beginning, we told him that we had to do the same success story on the Kodiak that we did on the TBM, and we launched the Series 3 2 years ago, and we do think that we have the same potential of incremental innovations on the Kodiak than we did on the TBM. As I said, we have to do it in a shorter path that we did in Europe, because we can do it and we are more efficient in the US than we are in Europe. So I'm very proud today to announce the new Kodiak 900. You know, it's always a lot of emotion to have a new baby, and you will see it outside. It's a fantastic baby, it's a fantastic cabin, but I think that I'm going to hand the mic to Nicolas, who is going to explain in details what is this new Kodiak 900 with the same idea that we did on the TBM 900 series.
Thank you, Didier. Well, how exciting it is to be here at Oshkosh and to introduce this new sister aircraft to the Kodiak family, the new Kodiak 900. I'm Nicolas Chabert. I'm currently heading the aircraft division for Daher. And let's get into details about what it is that we've done on this product. First off, this is a fabulous aircraft that is going to go way faster than its sister aircraft, the A100, but also any of the competition that is available out there. We are capable of max cruise at 210 knots, and that on its own is setting the bar and basically getting this aircraft in its own category. It's maybe done through a combination of things that we are seeing in details, but let's start with the propeller. The propeller is also based on experience that we have had with the TBM. It's a 5-blade composite propeller that was developed by Vauxhall with a lower RPM so that we can actually get the noise down, even the aircraft being a much bigger baby, as you can see from your left-hand side. We continue to improve the product, listening to our customers, making sure that we don't miss anything that they say. So we have a single point of refueling, which I can tell you is extremely handy. And on our flight over to Oshkosh, we stopped at one place, and it was absolutely essential that we had the single point of refueling feature on the aircraft. We have worked on the details, as I said, listening to the customer feedback, and every piece of ergonomics, whether it's on the flight deck or also in the back of the plane, has been addressed on this new model. And one thing that we wanted from day one, as Didier said, we can't just look at the future and say, we'll do something better later. We have to, today, make sure that whatever we come out as a new product, we are going to do it, in a more efficient way. So we have worked from day one on integrating the cargo pod and having fairings so that we can reduce drag on the aircraft to increase the efficiency of the airplane. So one thing that, the efficiency is only coming from the engine, which it does, but it's not enough. It's also the efficiency that we can be able to work at the aircraft level, and reducing drag is the other contributor, so that the efficiency of the engine and the aircraft is going to add up and to a very interesting number. So let's see that in details. But first, let's get on what are the performance. We basically are doing the same range as the Kodiak 100 on the Kodiak 900 with a much faster speed of 210 knots. We're able to carry more. It's an impressive useful load of 3,600 pounds, and I can tell you that seeing the airplane full of people, full of luggage, and taking the picture of the luggage on the ground, you say, oh, you're proud. This is it. But at the same time, where we were impressed, and I had my captain, Paul Carani here on that flight, we were impressed by the short field takeoff. And we went practice to Kana, which is a small strip, S66, just by Sandpoint, grass strip at 3,000 feet, a little bit uphill. And we say, can this baby take off with a full load of passengers? And the answer was, definitely, because we're here. So the magical formulas come first, with the engine, and I can thank your party with me for putting an absolutely wonderful and the most powerful small series of PT6 engine, the 140A, which is a remarkable engine that is providing first a good 5% efficiency over the older PT6A of the smaller series. We are drawing out 900 horsepower on the shaft horsepower, so out of the gear reduction box, so that we actually 150 more power on takeoff than we do with the Kodiak 100. So it is not enough. Having this kind of power for an aircraft like this that needs to go into places that sometimes are hot and high, well, we need it also to have a very good performance. And the nice thing about a 140A is that we can maintain this power at an impressive 37 degrees, ISS. So that basically gives us a lot of flexibility to maintain power, even if it's going to be in the middle of summer, in the middle of the Rockies, where you need to get off, efficiently. So with the full airplanes, we are extremely comfortable, and we did extensive testing that the hot and high environment is where this baby is going to work perfectly. Obviously, we also count on the propeller, and we're happy to have nice 97 inches big size propeller while maintaining the ground clearance, which is also very important on an aircraft like that. So we are not giving any chance to ingest anything to damage the engine. So that's on the side for the engine side. Now, what does it do at the aircraft level? And this is what Didier was mentioning. We don't want to get out with any products that are not going to be an answer now to sustainability. Now we cannot do big jumps. It's just impossible. We have to count on technology. This is why this program with EcoPulse is very important to us. But today we can do certain things. So today we're happy to report that these new aircraft that is, much bigger size, carrying more, getting faster, is going to use exactly the same amount of fuel over a Kodiak 100. So we are not consuming more. We are using exactly the same amount of fuel, which is translating into efficiency. And this is a good 9% reduction. There is a little bit of a math issue with the team, but we are actually strong on seeing the advantages of these aircraft where we can do more with actually using exactly the same amount of fuel. So we are not going to increase our footprint, we're going to maintain it while we are actually having an aircraft that is more capable. So what is the program update? I'd like to have Paul to tell us a little bit, some stories as well about what happened, in Sandpoint. So please, Paul Carretti.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Dyer Family Celebration. I'm a proud member of the Dyer America family. I'm the Director of Flight Operations in Sandpoint, Idaho, and I had the real privilege of doing a lot of the testing on this aircraft. So we started the testing back in February, which is not a great time of year to do testing in Idaho. However, the FAA on board, this plane did phenomenally. We took it to some places off airport, on airport, all across the U.S. And I can tell you that we flew 163 hours, about 131 landings on airport, off airport, very rough terrain, and we did about 90 sorties, and we had absolutely not a single maintenance stripe on a brand new airplane, which is really kind of unusual. The aircraft performed well beyond expectations. You don't see the FAA smiling a lot. They were smiling quite a bit getting to fly the aircraft. And we took it into some environments that you wouldn't think of an aircraft with wheel pants would operate. Those wheel pants are absolutely bulletproof. We took them into some really rough terrain out in Arizona, and they performed flawlessly. You can remove the pants, but we kept them on for all the testing, and they did absolutely perfect on all of the rough terrain. The aircraft performs just like the Kodiak 100. Short takeoff and landing, short landings. The climb rate is unbelievable in this aircraft. You can maintain 1,800 feet per minute. We were using it for parachute operations testing. We were getting about 11-minute cycles. That's up 12,000 feet and down and off the runway, which is pretty fast. And if you really think about it, that's a really good cycle time for those type of operations. I'm also the Director of Special Missions. This is going to be my baby for Special Missions, I'm telling you right now, because you can loiter in this aircraft at 85 knots. It's got a 9+ hour endurance, which is pretty incredible. And you can also sprint to any area of responsibility that you might need to go at 210 knots. I've seen as high as 218 knots in this airplane, but 210 knots is what we advertise on it. It's a fantastic aircraft for all those missions. Safety, number one. That's the culture of this company, is safety, and this aircraft exceeds that beyond any imagination. It is a safe and reliable aircraft. Like I said, we had 0 issues with it. Not a single failure, maintenance stripe, nothing. And all 163.3 hours. So it's an incredible design. And what's really great is to see Dyer bring in the elegance and efficiency into the aircraft. Even with Kodiak as a utility aircraft, this is a perfect blend of that. It's going to be a really exciting aircraft for both general aviation and special.
Thank you, Paul. I'm sure that there will be some questions for you in the audience. So we continue on bringing value into the airplane, where we have this G1000 NXI and We are not going to say anything, but we do work to the future, so don't ask questions. This is the NX side that is on the aircraft. What we did is we work on the ergonomics to make sure that the, for instance, the autopilot flight control is going to be located high on top of the MFD, the main flight display. So we are making it handy for the pilots. So this is the kind of thing that we have completely reworked on the layout, and I'm sure that this is something that you're going to catch, that is going to catch your eye when you are going to see the aircraft real. We also wanted to make sure that we take advantage of this large cabin, and of course we can always make it very utilitarian, so very rugged, but the challenge is to make it, more luxurious and in fact versatile in the kind of use. So we have a cabin length that is increased by 37 inches, and this is giving us the opportunity for a double club seating, which in fact is exactly the size of a King Air 350. So it's a big cabin that you can use. And again, the team that came on board with us during the flight to Oshkosh, we had 9 people, and I think in 6 hours, I mean 5 hours and 30 minutes, you can piss off people, or you actually do not. And we were able to have a very content crew using this double club cabin. We also wanted to work on thermal insulation and the ACS. Those are details, but they are very important details. And again, whether you need to distribute cold or warm air into a large cabin, this is a challenge. And I want to underscore what has been done by the engineering team to make sure that we're in fact improving where we were with the Kodiak 100. So it is a comfort in all the senses of the word. I'll let you discover the interior, the new seating that we developed, and all of the panels which are going to feature USB A and C's. I don't know about you, but when I have a rental car, I need those USB A and C's, and this is what we have provided to every and all of the passengers of this plane. Overall, this is an aircraft that is having extended durability, and we have a 4,000 engine TBO and unconditional HSI. This is taking advantage of the latest technology from Pratt&Whitney on this 56A-144A. So as you can see, we're continuing to invest a lot. This is our new product. But I'd like to mention and thank very much Didier for making sure that the board of directors at Air is supporting our product roadmap. It's also a great support that we have had in the US. I'm happy to say that the investment that you were talking about a little bit sooner is also translated into the Sandpoint sites. We are actually going to open next month a brand new paint facility, so we are going to have a full integration of the painting of our airplanes right from Sandpoint, as opposed to having flown over to different paint facilities. So this is the kind of investment, it's a $2.5 million investment that Air has put, into Sandpoint site. So these are very important, so that we can make sure that we are going to meet market demand also in Sandpoint. With that, I'd like to pause and have a little movie before we get any questions. We're so afraid. So let's get us a little bit of a movie that was very nicely done by Mark Brown and his team. So here it is.
Kodiak is going to be one of the fastest non-pressurized single-engine turboprops.
We're very excited to see the new Kodiak coming a reality.
This new Kodiak today takes the best of the Kodiak 100, the best of the TBM, and brings it into a new product. We're really excited to debut it.
It's not yet the time of questions.